Shot and killed a road rage attacker in the street, and now she's facing the possibility of life in prison. 2 years ago, 32-year-old Catherine was rushing her feverish daughter to the hospital. As she approached an intersection, an SUV in front of her blocked the way. Catherine honked once to signal the driver, but the owner of the SUV, Jack Cooper, suddenly stopped her car and then got out, yelling at Catherine like he was out of control. He even jumped onto the hood and threatened to kill her. Terrified, Catherine warned that she was going to call the police, but Jack didn't stop. Instead, he tried to pry open the car door. As the situation grew more dangerous, Catherine was forced to raise her revolver. Later, when she learned that Jack had died despite emergency treatment, Catherine broke down in tears in the interrogation room. She never meant to kill him. She only wanted to protect her young daughter. In court, the prosecution accused Catherine of using force beyond what was necessary for self-defense. They argued that she could have stayed inside the car and waited for the police. But after reviewing the video of what happened, the judge believed that Catherine was indeed facing real danger. We cannot expect a mother with a young child to remain calm in a situation like this, the judge said, and decided to acquit Catherine. Do you think this...
Hey guys, how y'all doing? This is OV Transport Guy coming to you again with a very informative video this time. So, I briefly showed you guys a clip of dangers of people driving and having a outrageous other drivers. I didn't go too detailed in it because, obviously I didn't want to get flagged, by, certain sources, if you know what I mean. So I just put very brief in there. So with that being said, okay, so you're a driver, right? Okay. And with that being said, if you are a driver, then you understand the risk of driving. Besides, traffic jams and accidents and things of that nature. But for the most part, grace of God, you survive, you're okay with accidents and things of that nature. Those can be dealt with. However, the things that you don't see happen a lot of times is, assaults from other drivers, road rages, people getting out their cars, stuff like that. It happens and it's very real. Now, I stay obviously in Texas where most of us do carry firearms. So the video for today is not talking about firearms because, again, firearms is looked at as evil, dangerous. But like I tell anybody, it's not the item you use, it's the person that's used them and what mindset that they're in. And that could be said for anything. I mean, heck, David used a stone to slay a giant, right? Obviously, he hit him in the right way, and old boy went down. Now, what happened after that was something totally different, but that's beside the point. So it really comes down to the person. Now, here's a few things that you want to do before I show you guys kind of what I have, what I use. So I do tote, like I said, I am armed, but I have a concealed license. So in the state of Texas, I have the right to carry as long as I know the laws and bylaws and things of that nature, what you can, what you can't do, all that good stuff. But I preferably would rather talk people down, reason with them. I do have de-escalation tactics to try that. And I find at the end of the day, if you can talk people down, that is absolutely great. But what if you're in a situation where you have a road rager? Well, I find very easy. If you have a person that's driving like a maniac on a road, they're behind you, they're burrowing behind on your butt, man, pull to the side and let them go. Don't get in a pissing fight or match in a car, flipping them off, rolling your windows down, trying to get up on. Don't do that. You don't know the state of that individual, and that individual could be big, bad, and way worse than you possibly are. They could be armed. You don't know. You don't know. So you want to be careful. But what if there's a situation where you didn't see it coming, you did nothing wrong, nice blue, shiny day, things is going well, somebody cuts you off, you let them get by, they get out their vehicle, they approach you, things like that. And just in general, even with passengers in your vehicle, what should you do? You know what I'm saying? Now, I've talked about this in detail with passengers in your vehicle, how to respond with that, because I think that's equally important. great posture, compose yourself. Don't get into a pissing match with them. It's just not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Let them be angry on their own. They can vent, let them vent, but get yourself in a safe spot. But in this particular case, I'm just going to show you some key things that are affordable, that you can have, and that you can use, and all of it is non-lethal. Uh, for the most part, it is. But you got to think about your safety. Uh, and then I'll just kind of go into what you should do or what you say when you're in situations like that, because verbiage and having things on you is absolutely important. And you'd be surprised the simple stuff that can save you a lot of heartache and grief. Uh, so here's I'm going to show you guys what I have.
So as you can see, there's a few things that you see that I have here. So real quick, and I'll just kind of show you what I have. So this is a taser. And all these items, except for that knuckle bash you see right there, I got off of Amazon. So that's what that looks like there. And I'll show you kind of how that operates here in a second. And I have a little device that shoots out at you. You guys should know that these are completely legal and safe. In some states, you need licenses. If you're working security, yes, you will need a license for this. But this is for civilian. A lot of women carry these type of things. Also, obviously, like the knuckle brass. In Texas, it is legal to have it. Obviously, that's just something that I carry because I don't want to break my knuckles on somebody if I happen to hit them. Hopefully I don't, right? Okay, so this is an easy contraption. Obviously, you see that I've had this for some time by the aging of it, right? So this is a pepper spray gun. Now, how does this work? Well, let me see here. Try to do this while holding this camera. So this pops open, right? Okay. So yeah, this pops open, and that in there is your projectile, right? And as you can see, if you can see it, so literally all you do, just a canister, you'll pop in there, and it gives you good instructions too on what that looks like, right? And so you literally close it back, and like so, you'll click that, and you can fire it and shoot straight out. This is a very good device to have. That little canister in there, it can be replaced. Okay, so I ain't gonna pull it out right now because I got it kind of stuck in there. Periodically, at least a couple of times out the year, just kind of you shake it up. Take the canister out of it, shake it up, and just trigger it, just spray it. Be sure you're somewhere where it's not a lot of wind. Certainly not in the house. Do not spray this in the house. If anybody's ever been sprayed with pepper spray, you know what that feels like. Obviously, you have fire, and you have it on safety. And obviously, it's shaped like a gun, right? So on that note, just be mindful of that, please. It has a little light here because this one's so old for me, and I've had this one for years. There's usually a little switch on it to where that light comes on. But this is a great device to have. And guys, just so you know, and I just have to be really honest with you, please, please, please do not point this at a police officer, because from a short distance, especially long distance, it looks like a gun, okay? But it's pepper spray, okay? Totally non-lethal, safe, hit them in between the eyes, always, okay? So, and also when you get this from Amazon, they send you the actual pepper spray, and they send you a test water bottle in that same canister so you can test it and try it. Okay, so now this one here, this is one of my favorite ones, right? So, again, all these have instructions on how this works, right? So, obviously you see a little light on there, point in your direction. Yeah, I know, annoying, but when you have this one light all the way on, You see that little red light? Now, let me show you something. See, you see that little dot there? That looks familiar for some of those that's been hit with taser. And this deal here, if I press that, it's like a trigger. If I press that, which I'm not going to, let me close this off because I don't want to hit anything. The prongs will pop out and hit a person, and then you literally hold this down for the charge. Okay. And, this is one of those things, again, looks like a gun, so don't point this at an officer, okay? And it comes with usually 2 of these type. So ideally, I'm hoping you don't have to ever really use it, but they do give you 2 of these, all right? And again, I got this on Amazon. This ran me about $200-something. $200 or $300. A little pricey, but I think well worth it. While this one here was like maybe $40 or something. A little bit high end, right? Okay, so next thing is this. Stun gun. No projectile, however, you have flashlight, right? And this flashlight is actually pretty bright when you shine in somebody's face. The next one, red light is on. And just to give you guys see what that looks like. Oh, shocking. Talk about a shocking feeling. Now, obviously with this can scare off dogs. You hit that, a lot of times people will be like, whoa, what are you doing? God forbid that you have to use this, and this is very inexpensive. I like this brand, and because you can charge it up too. Let's see, right there's a little USB charger. And the same thing, even with this one here, it has a charging port too as well. So, so you have that, right? And this here, when you hit somebody, typically, God forbid that you have to, and I'm not sitting here promoting any dangerous activities, right? But if you have to, neck, chest area, ladies, this be a good idea when you go on dates in case you got a bad character. To FYI, you hit them on that thigh of that leg, they'll defecate. But you didn't hear that from me. Okay? Now, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, man, do you beat people? No, this is actually a flashlight. And this is totally self-defense. And this here, one of the reasons why I did get it is because this is a window breaker right here, as you can see. So obviously, if you hit this at the corner of your window, should you get stuck, you run into water, you hit that window pretty hard. Typically, you'd have to hit it like this, make sure that spike part hits that window, it'll crack it, and then you can hit that window to shatter it if you need to, or like if you see a child in a car that looks like they're suffocating, or an animal, whatever the case is. So this is a real good device for that, obviously. This is a safety weapon. There's nothing evil about it. I know it looks like a baton, but again, you got safety first. And I usually keep that like on the side of me. God forbid I ever have to use that. But I usually will use, kind of what you see before I even touch that. Most of the time, I won't even ever have to use that. This is your basic pepper spray, Phoenix. And it is what it is. This is probably one of the more hotter pepper sprays. I don't know if you can see that. So it does leave a dye. So you spray somebody, they go to the hospital, you say, hey, such and such tried to attack me. The UV dye, if the police officers have a UV light, which you can, that stain will be on their face or whatever. Now, this was different. A lot of pepper spray in the past didn't have a lot of the safety device on it. And I remember working in security, man. I would wear this hooked on my pants, and man, it's like, oh my God, the pepper spray get all over you, and it gives you a feeling you don't want, trust me. Now, good thing about this, safety device, you press down on that, and it shoots out. Now again, you want to be some distance away from somebody who uses that. You don't want to be up on somebody in like circular motion, making sure you step away. Trust me, unless they are a veteran and they've been in the military for years, and which a lot one of the things they do in the military and police academy, especially military, is they get tested with pepper spray in their face quite a bit, napalms, gas, stuff like that. If they have to go through that, they'll be a little used to that. This is more for civilian, but you hit them in the eyes, this is something that it stings, right? So again, this is idea. You know what I'm saying? You can conceal it. You can have it with you. It's non-lethal. Okay. And two, guys, another thing too. Let me see here. I don't know if they'll say it or not. Usually it gives the percentage on it. You know, if it's 8 or 10%. 10% up to 15% is about what you need. That's pretty strong. Pretty strong. 10% is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe police officers have 10%. I'm not sure if they sell 10 or 5% anymore. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they do. But then I got this on Amazon. Real good price. They used to come with 2 packs. Okay, and again, you want to occasionally shake this up periodically. You probably don't want to do that if somebody's coming up on you right away, right? And then it's a flashlight. Now you're thinking, why a flashlight? Well, for one, this one I got specifically from Amazon. It's metal or steel or very tough aluminum, and it's very, very bright. You hit this in somebody's face, even if you extend it up, it's actually pretty good. And it's real good to blind somebody temporarily. Nobody wants flashlight in the face, you know, and that just gives you kind of, you know, certain levels, stuff like that. And also, too, that you got flashlights are self-defense weapons. Self-defense devices. I use this all the time in security, ones similar to this. They were a lot bigger and stuff like that. But this is not a weapon. As a matter of fact, it would be best if you have to strike somebody to use this, then to use either this or, God forbid, this. You know what I'm saying? But all these you can have on you. Now, this here you can't have on your body. It has to be in your vehicle, unfortunately, or in your house. Okay, because it does look like a baton. But I got it because of this tip part here. You know what I'm saying? And now, ladies, you're probably thinking to yourself, you seen it in the corner earlier. Oh, Lysol. Well, yeah, because you want to make sure you disinfect your car, obviously. But wait, there's more. It's 10, right? And if you don't have anything, and you've got an aggressor coming to your car, just you know. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting you do that. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer you get something to where it doesn't blind them. Because unfortunately, you hit somebody with this spray in the eyes, the chances are it's going to cause some serious irritation and or temporary blinding. But it's good to have just in case you're in a situation. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not promoting weapon fighting, killing, anything of that nature. I am simply saying that besides your car smelling good, you know, it is safety. Here's the one reality of things, too. You want to make sure you have what you need to protect yourself and protect others. My recommendations, and this is my recommendations, this here, for safety, law enforcement, they don't throw the book at you. You have that there. Flashlight, not a weapon. Okay, it's not a weapon. Taser. These are the things you need. Okay? Okay, so, and I'll even move this away because, again, it looks like a weapon, but it's a pepper spray. Okay? Taser, but looks like a weapon, but it is a taser. Totally legal. Security, have to have a license for. Some states do not permit this. So be sure you look at your laws and regulations in what state. However, this here, you can have on you, carry with you. You can have this carry on you. You can have this carry on you. Okay? These are ideal. You know what I'm saying? So I can get into the logistics of how to use this, but I mean, you can figure that out for yourself. So these are the devices that I have. And now there's more coming back to you.
So I was glad that you guys was able to see the devices that I have and that I carry. So again, let me just remind you guys, these are the items that you need. Inexpensive, about $25, $15, $17, basic stuff. This may be maybe $25, $26, $27, and this be about the same. You don't need a big super flashlight. This is best, and you want to get the ratings on how many luminance it has on it, the brightness of it, basically. And as you can see how it blurred out the video. Hopefully, it didn't mess up my video, but it's very powerful. You put that in somebody's face, or if you're looking for something, you'll be able to find it in there. And they have some to where it can change colors, flash, UV, things of that nature. And then, obviously, again, you have this here, very good device to have. So these are items that you want to have. At least those three. Those are basics. Anybody can afford them. They're inexpensive. On Amazon, especially TikTok. Amazon obviously the best. You can go to, I'm not sure if Walmart carries something like that, or Target or whatever. But a lot of other thrift stores may have some of the items you're looking for. Academy would actually have stuff like that too. So that's just something just to think about. Okay, and you're thinking about your safety and the safety of your passengers, family, things of that nature. And these things you can carry around with you. Because I get it. When we talk about the areas of firearms, not everybody wants to carry that. In society, it's looked at as a bad thing. Everybody forgets about the whole point of 1776, but that's besides the point. So, carrying it is a great idea, right? Because again, I carry it with the hopes that I won't ever have to use it, right? But I do have it, right? But I understand the law of it. Now, for those that do have firearms, let me just caution, because I can't do this video without letting you know the most important things. For me, besides me carrying it concealed, registered through the state, registered through the government, when they run my license plate, when the officer's behind me, they're going to see that. If I get pulled over, that's the first thing I'm going to show them. So be sure your stuff, your card is active. It shows your all the accurate information, including where you live at. So if it's not where you live at, yeah, you can get dinged for that if the officer wants to be a jerk about it. So these are important. And also, too, another thing, you need to be sure if you're carrying any type of firearm, you have a representation to represent you. Things like Legal Shield, for example, entities like that, to where you pay a specific fee you can carry in your house or out of your house. They will represent you. Because unfortunately, if you have to use it, more than likely you're going to go to jail. That's just the bottom line. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So you want to have legal representation, but there are rules that you need to be sure you follow, with that being said. And you want to make sure you look at that and study that. So I would tell you, if you're going to carry a firearm, you need to be sure you have some background understanding of that and what that means, bylaws, 30-6, 30-7, what does that mean? What I'm saying? If it's posted, you can see it and it's in accordance. You got to make sure you follow those laws, okay? So one thing a person's not going to say when they watch this video, well, he didn't tell me that. Yeah, I am, buddy. I'm telling you, don't break the law. Follow the rules. That's why they put that. Now, in Texas, we are lucky that our governor and things of that nature would want us to carry and stuff. But for the sake of the video, because you could be viewing this elsewhere, you may not carry, you may not be in Texas, and you may be afraid of the firearms, and it's perfectly fine, what I'm saying? But you do want to protect yourself. But just do it the right way. That's why I've shown you, the three devices you want to have that guarantee safety, disabling, dismobling an assailant, especially, not causing severe harm. Now, on that note, this is important, there is the fight or flight mode, right? If you're justified within reason that you're in danger, and make sure, hey, are you in danger? This person on my property, this person is within my proximity. You know what I'm saying? Proximity is 3 feet rule, what we call it. Your circle, your bubble, 3 foot. If they're within that, that's considered danger. Danger, little Johnny, danger, right? So, yes. So all that's considered dangerous. Safety If you're in a situation where you are in fear of your life, not only do you need to protect yourself by any means necessary, you need to make sure you're able to back that up, right? And if you get in a situation where you have to, God forbid, have to harm somebody because they're trying to harm you, the things you need to say is, hey, well, I'm in fear of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm in danger. I need help. A funny story, real quick. When I worked in security, there are times you have disgruntled people that get into it with you. You know what I'm saying? There are times that I've had to slam people to the ground because they were cutting up, right? But while I'm doing that, and even talking to them when I know, hey, this guy's going to do something, I'm saying the words, hey, look, I'm in danger to myself. I don't want to harm you, sir. Back down, back down. You know, I'm saying that type of stuff. And even when you have them on the ground, you know, I'm talking to them using the right words, you know. And of course, too, I want to make sure I get medical emergency to them at any cost, quick, fast, in a hurry. Because I'm not trying to harm. I'm not trying to be put on spotlight as this, you know, bad to the bone guy. I'm not trying to do that. But it's important that your verbiage is correct. And also, too, ladies and gentlemen, your phone, cameras. Oh, yes. Having that camera on is absolutely important. That's why having a dash camera in your vehicle is absolutely important. Make sure you test it, make sure it's working, make sure you have your SD card. Disclaimer. Yes, disclaimer. You want to make sure camera is working. Make sure if you have it on your phone, it's recording both sound and video. I get it, you might be in a tight situation. You know, that's why I say your phone, pepper spray if you need to have it on you, because you may never know when you may need it. You know what I'm saying? So it's there among many things, right? And guys, again, if somebody's approaching your vehicle, don't get out your vehicle. Try their best to get away from it if you can. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, but again, cameras, absolutely important. I have several of them in my vehicle. I have, you know, phones with me. So I'm recording everything. I ain't taking no risk, right? Because player, I'm not trying to go down like that, right? I'm gonna do what's right, what I need to. But there are times there's sticky situations. So what have we learned in this video? Use simple products, affordable, inexpensive, safety first, fight or flight if necessary. Of anything, avoid conflict, understand your laws and your bylaws, right? You know, be sure you understand all these things is very important. And say, make the right verbiage. You know, I mean, fear of my life, fear of my danger. Even when you call the police, medical emergencies. Hey, I'm in fear of my life. This stuff is being recorded for a reason. And even when you're talking to the person, you're doing that. And I get it. We got emotions going. You know, we're cussing somebody out. If you don't get the blank away from me, I'm gonna do something. You know, you got to go to court. There's something just to think about, and this is something my mindset is programmed. If I have to get into it with somebody, I'm thinking about, was I justified? What if I have to go to court? What if I have to harm this person? What if this person harms me? I am intended that I'm not losing a physical fight with what I have. But at the same time, I'm not going out there looking for a fight. You know what I'm saying? So I would rather resolve peacefully. At the end of the day, that's what you want to do. Resolve this issue peacefully, quietly. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Person may be having a bad day. You know what I'm saying? And even if they're getting out, don't antagonize them. Don't make the situation worse. So, guys, these are basic, simple tips. I know I'm a little bit long-winded today, but the video just kind of stirred me up. And I'm thinking to myself, with my background in security and de-escalation and medical to some degree, and then driving, maybe I can add these together and do a video that actually can, you know, have folks listen to you, understand it. So, that's it for a video for today. Other than that, I will talk to you again, ladies and gentlemen. So until then, God bless you, God be with you. OV Transport Guy, signing off. Talk to you later, bad guy, bad girl. Peace. Bye-bye.